certified pediatric sleep counselor. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about all things baby sleep. In today's video, I'm going to answer the 5 questions that parents ask me most frequently. 1. Is nursing to sleep a bad habit? 2. When will my baby sleep through the night? 3. Why does my baby take such short naps? 4. Why does my baby wake up when I put her down? And 5. Why is my baby's bedtime so late? So let's jump right in with the first question. Is nursing to sleep a bad habit? And the answer is a big emphatic no. Nursing is how babies are biologically programmed to sleep. It's the biological norm. Nursing creates sleepy hormones. The suckling motion lulls a baby to sleep and lulls a mother to sleep as well. Breast milk produced at night contains the sleep hormone melatonin, which plays a vital role in regulating a baby's circadian rhythms. A baby may be distracted and may not feed well when awake, and that baby tanks up on all her calories at night by nursing to sleep, and that's a good thing. Babies also crave physical closeness and security and comfort when they're sleeping, and nursing provides all of that. It's actually the perfectly designed sleep solution. Moreover, it's great for the mom as well because a mom doesn't need to get up and rock and walk her baby. She doesn't need to prepare a bottle. She can simply keep the baby next to her and nurse her to sleep. Without even waking up, it leads to a much more restful night for the mother with long stretches of continual sleep. Gradually, over time, nursing babies can develop other associations and do adapt to other modes of being soothed to sleep, like being walked to sleep or rocked to sleep, especially with other caregivers if the mom isn't going to be available. But for the mom and for the baby, nursing to sleep is a perfectly natural way to sleep the whole night. Moreover, babies do not form habits. They do not manipulate and remember that they should do X to get Y result. Their neocortex or thinking brain simply isn't developed enough. They simply follow their biological programming, and nursing to sleep is an integral part of that. Question 2. When will my baby sleep through the night? Now, this is actually a trick question because the answer to this is never. Did you know that no human being sleeps through the night? That's right, you and I don't sleep through the night. All of us sleep in cycles, and these cycles are about 2 hours long. So when we fall asleep, we first enter a drowsy, light stage of sleep. Then we enter shallow sleep. Then we enter deep sleep. Then deepest sleep. Then REM sleep. And then we cycle back through these stages of sleep. About 2 hours pass in this time, and then at the end of this sleep cycle, all of us wake up. Now, as adults, we don't even realize we're awake. We just roll over and go back to sleep. And we don't even remember in the morning that we woke several times every night. Babies wake in the same way at the end of a sleep cycle. Their sleep cycles are shorter, from 40 minutes to 2 hours long. When they wake at the end of a sleep cycle, they're unable to go back to sleep on their own. They need our help. That's when we need to soothe them back to sleep. So the question really should be, when will my baby be able to connect sleep cycles on her own? And this happens gradually and progressively over time, up till the age of 3.5 to 4 years. So by the time a baby is 8 to 9 months old, he'll be connecting 30% of his sleep cycles on his own. By the time the baby is 2 years old, he may be connecting about 60% of his sleep cycles on his own. Babies are usually consistently connecting almost all of their sleep cycles by the age of 3.5 to 4 years. However, even after that, babies can wake for other reasons, and so can younger babies. They may wake because they're hungry or too hot or too cold, or because they're scared about something, anxious about something. They've sensed separation from us and an internal alarm has gone off. They want to relieve themselves, or they're feeling too wet, or something is disturbing them about their environment. This actually happens to all of us, but we have the internal mechanism to resolve these issues, and babies don't. So, really, the answer to when will my baby sleep through the night is when our babies have the capacity to address their nighttime issues on their own. And mostly this happens at the age of 3.5 to 4 years. Question three: why does my baby take such short naps? So, the thing is that babies need certain conditions in order to nap well. It's our job to take care of those conditions, and if we do, our babies absolutely will nap well. So, the first thing we need to look into is, are we following awake windows? That means a stretch of time when our babies can be happily awake without getting overtired. An overtired baby will not nap well because an overtired baby's body will release the stress hormone cortisol, which will disturb your baby's sleep. So it's really important to educate ourselves about the different awake windows at our baby's various ages and to ensure that we're following those awake windows in conjunction with watching for early sleep cues. We need to ensure that our baby is not overtired. That's the first thing we need to take care of to set ourselves up for a good nap. The second thing we need to look into is, are we holding our babies when they nap? And this is especially true for younger babies. Newborns for sure, 4-month-olds, 6-month-olds, all the way up to 9 or 10 months. Most babies actually sleep well if they're being held by their caregiver. They need physical closeness, comfort, and security. And that comes from being held by their parent or their caregiver. They often wake up when we put them down. So if our baby is constantly waking up when we put them down, we need to get the message and keep holding them. Babies also nap well if the sleep environment is conducive. It should be pitch dark and quiet, especially after the age of 4 months when our babies become more aware of their surroundings. Babies don't just sleep anywhere and everywhere, despite what we may be conditioned to believe. Babies actually do need a low stimulation, or rather no stimulation environment, a dark and quiet room in order to sleep well. The other thing we need to look into is whether we're bridging our babies' naps. So, as I mentioned, babies sleep in cycles. They wake up at the end of a sleep cycle, and this is true for naps as well. They also wake up for other reasons. They may have sensed separation from us, or they may be hot or cold, or hungry, or something may have disturbed them. They may have been in light sleep and something has woken them up. This doesn't mean that the nap is over. This just means that we need to help them to go back to sleep. So that's really important as well. Question 4. Why does my baby wake up when I put her down? It's a familiar scene. You've just nursed or rocked your baby to sleep. You're waiting for baby to go into deep sleep. Then, when you're quite sure, you gingerly place her down on a bed or in her cot. What happens next? Eyes pop open, you're back to square one. Or even if you manage to put your baby down, 15 minutes later, your baby's up again. So what happened, really? Your baby sensed separation from you and woke up. Human babies are born at a very early stage of gestation. They're actually very underdeveloped and immature when they're born, and they have an inbuilt survival instinct that makes them wake up when they sense separation from their caregiver. This isn't to do with forming a habit or being used to it, being in your arms, or trying to manipulate us in some way. It is simply an inbuilt survival instinct. This is very, very normal. The first 3 months are called the fourth trimester for this reason, because our baby isn't even actually used to being outside of our womb. But this need to be held can continue up to 9, 10 months. The best thing to do is to just embrace it and go with the flow. As I said, it is not a bad habit, it is simply your baby's need. And the best way to deal with your baby's need is to embrace it and to be prepared. I've held both my babies for all their naps until they were 10 months old. So the thing to do is to be prepared. So you know when your baby is going to nap. Keep some snacks and some water nearby. Keep some headphones nearby if you want to watch something with dim light, or you want to listen to an audiobook or a podcast, if you want to read something on your Kindle, or if you want to just rest for a little while. This is actually nature's way of getting parents to rest as well. It's so much easier to handle a well rested, happy baby when she's awake rather than a cranky, overtired baby who isn't happy when she's sleeping and isn't happy when she's awake. It's much easier to hand over a happy, well rested baby to a grandparent or to another caregiver or to your partner, or even have your baby in a playpen or on a high chair while you attend to your work when your baby is awake, rather than trying to constantly put your baby down and rush to attend to something and then just have your baby wake up again. It's very, very normal for babies to need to be held when they're sleeping, to have that physical closeness and that security. And it's such a beautiful feeling as well. It doesn't last forever. Enjoy it. Enjoy the baby bubble. Just enjoy taking in your baby's smell, feeling your baby against you, and just go with the flow. Question 5. Why does my baby fall asleep so late at night? So, we all hear time and again that babies do well with an early bedtime. And I completely agree. Babies sleep much better in sync with their circadian rhythms. It's much healthier to have an early bedtime. It leads to a longer stretch of night sleep. It reduces chances of overtiredness. It gets them into a great routine for their school years. And it's also much easier on the parents to have that chunk of time to themselves after baby falls asleep. So, why does this not happen sometimes? Of course, there are phases right before a nap transition, for example, when babies do sleep late at night. But this is not the average. If you're dealing with a late bedtime almost all the time, then you may need to troubleshoot and see what could be wrong. So, one of the possibilities is that your baby doesn't have an age appropriate sleep schedule. So, not the right number of naps. The gaps between the naps could be too long. There could be an extra nap that your baby doesn't actually need. Another cause is overtiredness. If your baby is overtired, he's going to resist sleep. Yet another cause is overstimulation. Babies who are overstimulated find it very hard to wind down at bedtime. It helps to have a solid bedtime routine. So if you don't have that, get started on that tonight itself. A solid bedtime routine that gets your baby prepared for the night ahead, a time of connection with you, a time to just slow their bodies and their little baby brains down. Yet another cause is baby leaving the room once the final soothing for bedtime has begun. So, if you're done with your bedtime routine, you've read your books, you've done your cuddles, you're in the bedroom. It's time now to switch off the lights and walk your baby or nurse your baby. If at any point during this process your baby leaves the bedroom, it's like a hard reset. So that's something we need to prevent. We need to prevent that by just having a very solid routine where baby expects to not leave the room and where baby is beautifully engaged with you in the bedroom itself. One of the other major reasons is that we as parents have the unrealistic expectation that babies should fall asleep just lying next to us. So we may lie down and put our baby next to us and we may pretend to sleep, or we may just pat our baby and expect our baby to fall asleep on her own. This is usually not possible until baby is about 3 years old. They find it very difficult to remain still and actually calm themselves down to the point of sleep. They need a much more active form of soothing. So they may need nursing or rocking or walking. They need us to play a more active role. So if we're expecting our baby to just lie next to us and fall asleep, it could take an hour or more. So that's one major reason for a delayed bedtime. If you take care of these aspects, there's no reason for your baby to not have an age appropriate, healthy, early bedtime. So that's it. Those are the 5 questions that parents ask me most frequently. But of course, there are loads more. If you found the answers to these questions helpful, and if you'd like to hear my explanations for more baby sleep mysteries, follow my YouTube channel by clicking subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. If you'd like a private session with me, you can DM me, WhatsApp me, email me. So until we meet again, goodbye.